Hey friends, Dennis Nappy the second here with Sixth Sense Media, and I'm getting ready to go over my monthly world events remote viewing predictions for the month of July 2022. I'm a little behind in getting this content out, getting it recorded. Today is actually Friday, July 8th, 2022. However, I did do the session in June. I do have it timestamped if it ever came down to it, which for this it won't. But I did complete this session back in June, looking ahead to see what's going to happen. I also want to go quickly over my feedback or my results for my predictions that I did in May, looking at June 2022. I'm feeling that I've gotten a bit sloppy over the past 2 months. They've been, I guess I'm making excuses here, but it's just been pretty crazy with the school year winding down and a lot of things going on. My focus has been pulled in a lot of different ways. And I'm also wondering if I'm not checking the news regularly. I remember when I specifically tasked myself to look at a specific website on a specific date, I felt my data was clearer. The past 2 months, I kind of just threw myself out there to see what I would get because it took a little bit of mental pressure off of me. But in the long run, I'm not engaging with, I don't engage with the news, unless I'm looking for feedback now. So at the end of the month, I find myself going back and trying to match the stories with my data, and it's just not working. So for next month, I think I'm going to once again try to specifically target a website, probably unknown country again, and pull data that way. I think the feedback piece is key. So, but let's take a look at what I have, and we'll go from there. So I'll show you my feedback for June. While I'm pulling that up, I also just want to shoot a quick plug out here. sixthsensemedia.net. That's my website. I've recently updated and revamped it. You can have access to, I'm in the process of putting all my remote viewing projects up there through the website as well. The Secret Podcast and all the great content I have is there. My books, you can definitely get my books through sixthsensemedia.net as well. And part of my Reiki journey, I'm building on there as well if you're interested in Reiki. So check it out, sixthsensemedia.net. All right, commercial over. Let's go through my June feedback here. All right, my feedback for my predictions done in May 2022 for June 2022. All right, I'm going to start with the data before I show you that other slide there. I had data that says it feels like an event impacting many areas. The revenue feels important, financial systems, financial stratosphere, objectification, ratification. And then I had the word emergency meetings, open the doors, let politics lead the way, but it's all a charade. That should have been probably an AI or an AOL. But and then when we go back here and you look at the headline on Drudge, which is on the right-hand side, Fed does its big one, lost all control, ECB emergency meeting. So there's what I'm connecting with there. That was the headline on Drudge. And then the article, this is dated June 15th, European Central Bank to create new tool to address fragmentation risk and temper bond route. So again, I think the emergency meeting is what I was picking up on there with that financial trouble there. You can look more into that article if you'd like to. All right, I had a missile test here. I know in my actual session, it's when I was in state, I saw more than one life form there with the rocket or the missile, but I only drew the one. So, and I wrote here, what's the main purpose of the event? To impose free will, justify, and I had a new location or colder. So my meant in relevance to all the military news was related to Ukraine and Russia at that point in time. So now we're looking at a new location here. And I said, maybe a show of force or a test. I had North Korea, AOLs of Afghanistan and Japan, a demonstration. And then I had an AI. I felt underwhelmed. Didn't feel that great. Then we have here from June 5th, North Korea launches 8 short-range ballistic missiles off the East Coast, South Korea says. So there's our Korea connection. North Korea fired 8 short-range ballistic missiles into the waters off its East Coast on Sunday. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said a move that Japan has called unprecedented. Let's see it again. We've got it right here. Japan and North Korea, missiles, rockets. I think that's what I was picking up on. So pat myself on the back for that one. Now, this one, if you look at the bottom here of this screen, I had this data on like this futuristic looking car. Now, full disclosure, this article was released yesterday, July 7th, 2022. So technically it's not a June hit, but sometimes that happens. I don't know if I'm just making this stretch, making it work, but I had a fascinating vehicle. It was futuristic, smooth, almost frictionless, aerodynamic. But this shape here of it, if you look at my sketch, and I had the AOL of Tron, if you remember seeing the movie Tron, great movie, um, either version of it, where the cars are just very futuristic looking. This one is Human Horizons unveils production ready hi-fi ZGT with robotic touchscreen and automatic suicide doors. That's pretty futuristic there, I'd say. And then the ad I thought was very Tron-like from the movie. You can see all of the like computer. It's like this car was in a computerized or digital world, so it reminded me of Tron. And I think I don't think this data is necessarily significant or a major world event, but I do think that me going through this process, me getting the slides together and then sharing it with all of you, I think this has something to do with the data that I'm getting in the past. There's some kind of communication with this feedback loop. I haven't quite figured it out yet. All right. And then I had something about Putin. Putin is not well, stomach pain, gastrointestinal, ruminating. There was a lot of other points of data on this one, but I'm just sharing this one piece here. Then this article came out on June 14th. Is Putin ill? Russian president's health latest as new footage shows him shaking uncontrollably. And it goes on and talks about he may have some kind of rare blood cancer that could kill him, in the near future. I drew this thing in his stomach because there were rumors of Putin not being well prior to me doing this session. So that could very well be front-loaded data. I think the actual hit would come into play if later on it comes out that he has something going on with his stomach or gastrointestinal area. So that's what I'd be looking for. So I'll consider that like target contact. I had some other stuff, but again, I didn't engage with the media all month, and I think that may have something to do with why my data is just kind of all over the place. And something else I'm working on to include for this month too is just trying to get more specific details with the other viewers that I work with. I mean, it's very clear what their story is. There's no questioning. There's no, oh, let me guess. Let me try to interpret this. So I would like to get to a point as a viewer where I can really draw that line in the sand and be like, hey, this is the story. This is what happened, and then see it in the news. So that's what I'm working on as I'm trying to improve my craft here. Let's share my world events predictions for July 2022. All right, here's my session. My tasking states the viewer will record the events that are reported in the media during the month of July 2022. I tried something a little bit different with my tasking. I feel that it was kind of lazy, but it was also just being very broad. I wanted just this open tasking. And looking at how the other viewers kind of go through their process, they're just out there pulling stuff out of the ether. I don't know that I'm quite there yet. So we'll see at the end of the month how I did with this. But I think really, at least for me at this stage in the game, I need to tighten up my tasking a little bit, my self-tasking, at least to get myself in the right mindset instead of just kind of going in there and saying, hey, what's out there? I feel less structured when I'm doing it this way. I don't think that I like it, but we'll see. So I took this one. This is kind of what Daz does. Top global news, July 2022. And I had this water event, rushing, moving, flood, hard and forceful. And then lots of, there was life, movement, and energetics. And this is I guess the screen I'll be looking for. I had an AOL of Harambe. If you remember, Harambe was like the gorilla that was dragging that little kid around, probably a metaphor. The movement was being watched. Like life was moving in a particular way. They were crouching, climbing, but what is he holding? Somebody needs help. A male, tan skin, moves in a crouched or crawling way, maybe using only one arm. And I felt that they were nervous or scared, something to do with escape. The crowd was watching and screaming. They may have had tan skin. Is he holding a child? Is this some kind of rescue? So is this related to a water event where there's a rescue going on? But then I had this bodies in the water, which was really strange data point for me. But are we dealing with a flooding event where there's bodies in the water and we're going to see footage of somebody with their child trying to climb out of the water and escape? I'm not sure. I wanted to see what was the cause of this event. Turmoil, rumbling, shaking. Was it in Chile, Indonesia? These are just AOLs because those are places where things have happened before, I think. So I'm not confident in my location. I did get early morning, 6 a.m., quiet streets, alarm sounds, Subsurface. So this red energetics moving to the left. There's water to the right, energetics to the left. There was energy moving through the ground. Thudder, energetic wave. It was a short energetic wave that moved through the ground. The event felt like it had multiple components to it, but what's most significant? Turmoil, rumbling, chaos. We can watch it all burn. And then I moved on to the next section. Now, again, another disclosure. One of the things I was really stressing about when I did this session, I was in a doom and gloom mindset, looking at other things going on in the world and really in a fear-based state. So I'm wondering if some of this stuff are just my fears coming out and not really good RV data. I mean, we'll know in a month from now. But I'm really trying to pay attention to my mental state before a session, during a session. So just sharing that with all of you, seeing if that has an impact. Next story, top U.S. news. It was an energetic event, World Leaders Summit. There was a rally, talks, discussions, a weapons ban I had. What's happening here? A general question about the state of affairs. Life standing, a woman, I am woman, hear me roar. I felt aggression and anger. Now, I did this session just a few days after the Roe versus Wade opinion was overturned by the Supreme Court. So that was in my mind, and that came to mind when I was doing this. So there's probably a lot of front loading here. Strength of femininity, a mother's blood, my body, my choice. I had 1960s protests, don't wear a bra, some kind of demonstration. And then I'd say if I'm going to consider this a hit at the end of the month, something with, I thought it was red paint. Maybe it's really blood, but something with blood on the abdomen. And it would go as far as red hands or a bloody hand, martyrdom, shame. It's on your hands, the influx of energy into life forms, something with sexual energy, but blood on the hands. We'll see. Dynamic literacy, sexual education, re-education, reintegration, exemplary dysregulation in the symposium. Then I had moved on. I had something about weapons, a weapons ban, energize, energetic, symposium, dysregulation. I had a process, a culmination of events, evangelical. Like now I started to get into, this might be another story. A prominent religious figure who felt Southern, take my guns. I don't know if he was saying like, you want to take my guns, or if he was saying, I think I should give up my guns. I couldn't get a feel for which direction that was going. But that was the statement. I had an AOL of a rifle, maybe this guy holding a rifle, and the word helter skelter, God, pray, worship. And here he is. The house of God compels you. I'm realizing now that's a quote from The Exorcist. I think it was the power of Christ compels you, but I think that's what I was getting that from. And again, I think this may just be all AOL stuff. It's just a stereotypical white male, white religious evangelical man, old, retired, alcohol in his breath, secret closet drinker. He was angry, sophisticated, and white. But there was something with dysregulation. A little more information about him here. Smart, emancipated, calculated, warning, Warrington, judgment, fallacy, prophecy. All right, I moved on. This event deals with a life and a structure moving forward. And then I took a break. I was feeling pretty fried from it. Came back. I had erratic and aggression. Gratuitous, patriotic proclamation. There was crowds. Something wet in the air was coming down and then spreading out. Was it gas? Was it smoke? But why? The movement won't play out well. Was it a peaceful protest? But for who? Both sides. Argumentative and judgment. The disbursement of the cloud felt slow. There was choking and coughing. I had an AOL of a virus, but I don't think this was viral related. What's the purpose of the event? Destruction, remorse. I felt something Southern Cross. Was it a tablet? The crowd felt very slow moving. What's most important about this event? Chaos, destruction, storm. The calm before the storm. Had AOLs of murder, January 6th, Capitol riot, hearing, police, a warning. Again, most of this data is stuff that was going on in the news at the time. So I really wonder if I just have a 100% front-loaded session this month, but we'll see. Moving to the next event. Actually, this one doesn't feel front-loaded. Runaway train. This may have happened already. I think there was a train crash. I have to look it up. Runaway train. There was movement, dropping, thudding, heavy weighted. AI, like a scare or a shock. I felt like a heavy object is slipping or falling suddenly, an object with passengers. And I felt distinctly thud, 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 like three like hard thuds. was startling. That was my AI. There were gasps, stopping, no longer moving, but why? There was a structure and obstruction. What's interesting about this? An energetic event, disruption to life, interrupts daily activities. Train stops suddenly, very jolting. As underground, other pedestrians. People felt calm, or at least moving slowly, as if they are not as panicked as they should be. This is the first event of many or more. What happens next? Run, like a charging bull or a runaway market. I guess bull triggered the thought of market, bull market. Is the ground slippery or moving? There was suction or pressure moving backwards or slipping or sliding or pulling. Water down the stairs. This was scary and eerie. Dirty water, sewage. I felt this was gross. Life feels calm or defeated. There were choices to make. And I got the impression here it was like you're looking at a bad situation and you just realize there's nothing I can do about this. That's kind of how the impression I got about that. All right, the next event involving life. Joyful, silly, emotional, energetic, charged, important, significant, technological, intelligent. I had Elon Musk and I had Trump. The tablet or smartphone. Again, January 6th, AOL. Is it a new device? Is it something called a data mint? I don't know what that is. Findings, lost, dropped, water, ruined, damaged. AOL of Hunter Biden. This felt uninteresting to me, but I felt that maybe some device was going to be uncovered that had some information or something tied into maybe January 6th or something political. All right, moving to the next event. This one's pretty random. Pauly Shore in the news. He was laughing, but he was also serious. Discussion about his career. He is giving comment on an issue. He has shorter hair. He's well dressed. Why? Support or supportive, something for gay rights. Time to come back and be a voice makes me want to laugh. Top financial news, July 2022. I can't read what those first two words say. I think it's Beacon. I have no idea, but something with a financial tech giant. Trust, mislabeled, misuse. And I had this drawing here. Could be a building, could be a microchip, but then I wrote, press the button, click, erased, eradicated. What if we erased your debt? What if we erased everything? Devastating. It's all gone. Financial reset. Is this economic warfare? I asked. Feels that way. What happened? Fuel the fire. This will help. Beware the big, drastic idea. Shocking. Helpful, but it's a ruse. Don't trust it. Financial shock to the system. Housing market fall. False claims. Reset. Rebel or rabble rouser. Dead for dollars. U.S. housing economy. Failure looms. There was a term I got called debt speed. Financial misstep, miscalculation, censorship, shaky ground, financial burden looming. Again, I'm not going to put much credit in this because that's stuff that's in my head. It's stuff that is not a huge surprise. So I really wonder if this was just me processing a lot of things. I'll talk more about that when I get through this session. But so this may have just been more front-loaded data coming through here. Top crypto news. This is interesting. Frozen assets, crimes against the government. Makes me nervous as an AI. System shock. Not looking good. What happened? Now, I had this line coming up with a barrier, and I wasn't sure if this was multiple steps or two possible timelines, but as if the market is rising and hits an obstruction or blockage, breaks through, and then falls sharp and rapidly. So we'll see. I looked at what it meant by blockage. False function, something technical funneling or restriction. Exchange, freezing, overloaded, creates a spike, then panic selling. Don't sell yet. People sell it all off because of other events in the world, looking for financial stability. I had it as a rocky run. All right, at the end, anything else? Just felt that the month was noisy, messy, chaotic, political dysregulation, collapse, and failure. Don't feel too good about this month. Then there's justice to be had. Beware the freedom fighters. They will make the world burn. They will respond to the given stimulus just as planned and expected. You may think you are rebelling, but you are doing what they are making you do. Good job, little doggy. Would you like a treat? That was interesting. And then one more thing came through. Joe Biden in the news, speech, collapse, chest pain, take a knee, head pain, a sign of weakness. Stress of the job is too much. Really starting the show. Fatigue, faint. Again, Biden falls. What will Kamala Harris do? Fortify, prepare, calm, and confident. She knows. I don't like that smile, whatever that means. And then I had this sketch here. Flaming, heat, falling, just objects coming down from the sky. Then I also had this dispersion effect on the ground. I said, this may be beyond 30 days out. I know at the beginning of my session, I closed my eyes. I saw meteors or something coming down. I don't want to label these as meteors. And I ignored it for the whole session. At the very end, I got another glimpse of it, so I drew it. I noticed in, I think, last month's session as well, the end of last month's session. Now I'm looking at June, my predictions for June 2022, where at the very end, I had meteor, comet, impact, shooting star, or discovery. Wow, this is exciting. And if you look down here, I had water, flooding, lots of flooding, high elevations. I had Maryland grasslands. Be safe, be careful. I haven't checked to see if any of that stuff happened. But I'm noticing I've been having dreams and some data coming through of things falling from the sky. Now, and even looking at all my data this month, again, I'm not happy with my data this month. I'm sharing this with all of you for a lot of reasons out there. But number one, it keeps me honest, and it helps me grow even in my major failures. And I'm curious if this month is going to be just a major miss. But there's a lot of learning that happens for me, even when I don't get it right at all, because then I go back and I look at it and say, man, that was embarrassing. So let me see what I have to fix. So I wonder though, I have been really horribly stressed over the last 2 months. Like I said earlier, the school year was ending. It was a very difficult school year. And as I was trying to wrap up the year, I just had so many things, so many loose ends I was trying to tie up. And on top of that, with some of the other work that we do, there was some heavy projects that I was a part of, and that was weighing on me. So a lot of the data that I think came through, I can easily look at that and say, these are things that were probably in my subconscious related to a lot of the things that I've been involved in or afraid of. So if they happen, then I'll say, all right, it's good data. If not, I think it's a lesson learned there that I really, and I have since, I think, come up with a system to just cleanse that stuff out of me. Sometimes we just go through life and we carry all these fears and frustrations and anxieties, and it got really bad for me. So I'm wondering if that's impacted my viewing. I think it has. Hopefully now I'm on a little bit of a break. When I go into next month, I'm hoping to be a little bit more refreshed. I'm going to go back to specifically targeting specific dates and websites for my news stories and see if that tightens up my data again. But either way, lessons will be learned through this. And I think it's important on how I'm engaging with my feedback. So my apologies. I saw a lot of you reached out last month on the YouTube channel. I just couldn't get to it. I don't like to not get to your comments. I did see them. I do appreciate the engagement. Please don't give up on me. Let me know what you think this month. Have you experienced something like this? Let me know. And again, don't forget to check out the website, sixcentsmedia.net. I'm proud of how I've revamped it. I'll have some more remote viewing projects I'll be uploading to the site, and a couple good ones that are going to be coming out hopefully in the next couple of weeks as well. Another great way to support my work, check out the books link at sixcentsmedia.net and purchase a book. I'm Human: Food for the Archons. It's got great reviews. Really compelling story. Check it out. All right, friends. That's all I got right now. Dennis Nappy II with Six Sense Media. Remember to never stop questioning, keep an open mind, and let your intuition be your guide. Thanks.